Hello, I'm the True Eyes Gamer, giving up my vast knowledge so you may understand games a bit better. In today's game, we are reviewing Killer is Dead, a very game I just love, but this game is a really strange beast, and the quality of it is lackluster in times, but damn it, can I really love this game.
So let's talk about how the game looked, and I don't usually talk about graphics this early, but damn, this game has style and I love it. Heavy shadows with bright colors that help make the look of it all noir-esque, but still have that brightness that allows it to be, good to look at. Sure, strip the shadows away and it kinda looks like a more improved version of Killer 7, which I still haven't played because I just got lost at the first part, and yeah, I know, right? But damn it, I still want to try it one day. And I really like how it looks too. And honestly, if I could get the art book of both games, by the way, I would. Because I love the style of it so much. Style is something that is important to me, at least because I just want something nice to look at when I'm playing something. Because yeah, sure, you can have the most impressive graphics to date, but by like 2 years, it's gonna look shit. Yeah, and it's why I make it a point of not mentioning them much, unless it's about style. So, we're good on that. To explain why I like this game, I kinda wanna put to an example for Gungrave. I like it a lot, but it has its fair share of issues, but it's still cool regardless. So, let's actually talk about the gameplay, or at least some of it. Luckily, the gameplay is really good in this game, though kinda really strangely hampered at the beginning for no clear reason why. Though the combat is really simple. And just so we're clear, I'm doing the PC version. Thanks, Larry. He gave me actually a bunch of PC game discs so I could play them. And yeah, luckily Killer is Dead had a PC disc released before everything went digital. And I personally recommend the PC version since it's a more optimized version and runs better than any of the other versions since you can actually make that 60 frames. I originally played this on the PS3, which was notoriously hard to develop and could barely run some games at 60. Though it should be noted that mine wasn't optimized either, because I'm not sure, because sometimes cutscenes would stutter and some gameplay would, and I'm not sure. So if someone would like to answer that for me, I'm not sure, and I figured out a way how to get around the infinite loading lock. The game is a simple hack and slash of the, again, simple kind. You attack with the left click of the mouse, and the game only has one combo. And it's okay looking, but later on it gets annoying, but still good, and actually becomes faster and stronger as the combo string comes along. And it's kind of awesome to see as it progresses. And again, it's kind of boring, but don't you worry, that's not the only way you're fighting, because you also have the muscle back. God, it's a stupid name. One of the muscleback's many functions is that if you press Q or hold it for a stronger version, you can use a guard break, which is not only good for breaking guards of foes, as that is a problem that I can't say they guard a little too much. It's actually helpful in a lot more ways, like for building combos, since again, it's gonna be hard at times if a foe kinda hits you, except with their gun for some reason, or you waited too long to keep the combo going. And starting back up with the muscleback is really helpful. And if your combo isn't high enough, you won't be able to resupply with blood. Well, wait, what do you do with blood? Well, you use the other mode of the muscleback. It's gun mode. By holding down the right button and the left button, you can actually begin firing your gun mode and actually straight up headshot some fools. Because the game has that for some reason, but I mean, it's okay, it's a cool idea. I'm a bit confused on why they added, but still useful. It's mostly used to hurt certain foes who are far away or to keep the combo going without moving it forward. Though you can use it to kill fools with the headshots, and again, it's really helpful. The game makes your blood supply somehow your ammo because killing an enemy refills it by draining their blood, I believe. Or at least that's how the game explains it. Though I should explain that the combo is not this number over here, it's more of this other number beside it that goes through 1 through 5, though you can upgrade it later, and I'll explain how to in a bit. Something I kinda keep forgetting to mention in my review that I don't know why it just came up now, was the Moon Slash, where the string goes red and you can insta-kill some foes. It's not a bad mechanic, it's just something I don't know, I just legit forgot it at times. It's really useful if you want to just get rid of some foes that you just really don't like, but some foes are prevented from being killed by it for some reason. though some need to be killed by it because of their mechanics. It's complicated. And it also uses up blood, which is still a precious resource that you should watch constantly. Sometimes the game wants you to wait before striking, so you can use the spacebar to defend so you can't get hurt. You can also dodge while holding it and pressing a direction. There's the dodge counter, or the dark shadow step, something I like to call it. You know, that move where you can dodge quickly and then slice your foes to pieces, but I don't know why, but I love that type of mechanic in games. It's just awesome. Though some bosses make it hard to do because I'm not sure because of maybe how their hitbox work and how they're designed. Like this boss right here, I can see why it wouldn't work, but for some other boss like this guy, I don't know why it doesn't work at times. Though, sometimes I wouldn't recommend using it all the time because that means you're losing out on rewards. What rewards are you losing out? Well, XP. Yeah, there's a leveling system. Sorta. You got normal ones here with the crystals here. You also got blood crystals and HP crystals, which usually expands your HP and blood supply a bit more. You use the crystals to upgrade your abilities, like getting the combo meter longer, more abilities, making some more powerful moves, that sort of thing. Tragic part is one of the abilities in the game makes the game a bit too easy, and the game doesn't want you to use it. It's an ability where you can use your blood to regain health, and the issue is for the challenge is because of this, that means the challenge can be fluctuating a lot because of that.
The mechanics are, again, as you can tell, very simple, and are all pretty dandy, though saying simple. Being simple to me is not an issue. It's only when you make the combat mechanically boring and not engaging is where I just basically zone the fuck out. Though I would say there is the issue of making the dodge mechanic way too much of the combat, as it feels like if it was removed, a lot of the combat would falter a bit, in my opinion. Just saying.
No, the game is not perfect, and honestly, I'll talk about the issues as I talk about the story a bit, as this game's stages are really all over the place in quality and also the story too, as I think it's really interesting, but good, that is really subjective. Honestly, when I say Suda51, the first thing that usually comes to people's mind is that crazy game dev who makes those crazy Japanese games. Honestly, that kind of fits him, but it kind of puts him also in a place where no one can take his work seriously, even when he makes an attempt to make work that actually makes you think. Though he doesn't always succeed, he is trying, and that is praiseworthy enough for me. I mean, some don't even bother, Ubisoft. Yeah, I'm gonna say this straight up. I have never much liked any of Ubisoft's stories or games that much. They don't even seem to really bother anymore. Last Ubisoft story I actually liked was the third game of the Assassin's Creed series. Because, you know, that one actually challenges the facts of its own methodology, actually questions a lot of things about the series. But, you know, brings it up and makes it poignant to the story. No, there is one thing you can't say. They're a little more understandable. The game actually begins in an alley as we're going after this guy who's firing some sort of gun, kind of like the muscle pack, and the man following him gets into the street, then he just gets shot in the head before some weird sequence happens, and not a lot happens. That this feels like little consequences, and it kind of doesn't have anything to do with anything. But then he cuts out the head of the guy, but before that we hear,
"Killer is dead."
God, I love that line. We then end the episode, and yeah, remember when I said the quality's all over the place? Yeah, the literal first episode is the worst. There's also another one that's kinda worse, but it actually has more to do. And all honesty, that episode could have been just a cutscene, and I wouldn't have mind, as it's only a walk cutscene, and I hate those. I also want to kind of note that I'm not going episode by episode since the story pace is really off. Because now I had to mention how the story is, well, the least to say is near nigh incomprehensible, as it seems unable to exactly elaborate on what's actually going on. I'm being half serious. See, the game does explain this. This guy's named Mondo Zappa. He's an assassin, and no, I have no idea what's with Suda51's fascination with assassins. He works with the government and this group as he goes off and kills monsters known as the Wires, and I wanted to know too, but the game doesn't explain entirely what they are in-game, and I'm stuck wondering why not explain it. Hell, if they explain anything, this could have helped the game way more. So I'll explain what's up with this world. So the world is in the near future where space travel to the moon is a thing now because reasons, but hey, that's just how it is. Also, cybernetics are a thing now due to some material on the moon called dark matter. However, it can change people into wires, which are the foes of the game, due to how the things are and if they are a weak-willed person. So the government made a group to handle these things, and well, Mondo comes in and kills them all. Though don't think Mondo is the only one who does this work. There are others. In fact, we meet the guy who Mondo replaces in-game who is infected by the dark matter on him. And yes, this is confusing to say the least, as apparently Brian was the first one, and he's also cybernetic. It's complicated. We also have this kid around here, and wish I cared, but I don't. I know her deal, but it doesn't really matter as it doesn't really come up in the plot much, or ever that much. There's also this woman who's here because... Look, if I knew, God, don't think I wouldn't try to explain it, because I honestly would. Post-edit, I accidentally did find it out. They're cybernetics too, and just made to look nice. I just roll with it mostly. But the weirder part about this plot in anything, the plot kind of takes a backseat for a while, or the more monster of the week thing, where they are given missions and oh yeah, there's a plot, but it feels stop and go on multiple occasions, like a plot about a musician stealing a woman's hearing, an alien looking like the KFC Colonel here trying to kill this monster in Area 151 for some godforsaken reason, but I can buy all that if the base of the world was even explained. In fact, strangely enough, I call the stages that have nothing to do with the main plot the best plot, episodes 6, 7, and 51. Since they are more individualized and since it actually feels way more engaging. My point is that the plot is there, but I'm way more invested in the plot of the day and then what was happening with David and his Dark Side of the Moon plotline. I wish I understood it, but I just feel it's not there at all. Actually, now talking about episode 51, I kinda have to mention something else now, something I've been kinda dreading.
There's one thing I didn't mention because it's really stupid.
As I mentioned, the Muscleback has more weapons than just the gun and the arm thing. There is also a drill and a freeze gun and one more, but I can't be bothered to find it because I never liked it to begin with. And the way you get them is really stupid. The Gigolo missions, which makes no sense when you remember that a gigolo is pretty much an escort for older women, though it can be for dates and just for fun, or as a player. It's confusing to say the least. Funny story, I asked my mom what it was because I felt that asking people can help me actually hold memories of data longer. Yeah, I'm kind of weird like that, and God, I don't know what made me do that ever, but whatever. But I'm also questioning what made the company think this was ever an actually good idea, but then again, they were forced to do it. But I can blame the devs on one thing. It is so goddamn utterly dull. I had to ask, who thought this was okay gameplay-wise? Honestly, if it was used to expand on Mondo's character, like how he thought about other people, his own thoughts and feelings on things, but the game does it, and that annoys me because nothing really happens. Ever. Well, wait, what do we do here exactly on the Gigolo mission? It's where you stare at a woman till you fill the bar here, and that's it. Why? I don't know. Ironically, Suda felt like he felt this would actually hurt his company, as they would think that anytime they thought of Grasshopper, they would think erotic, for some godforsaken reason other than that crazy Japanese guy. I mention this now because I'm mentioning episode 51, since it was actually a DLC episode, for some reason. And in that episode, you get episode 51 plus Betty as a Gigolo mission. And they're actually tied together since Betty is the one that offers the mission, and they could have actually expanded on her in that Gigolo mission. But they didn't, at all. Or hell, even Mondo, since Mondo as a character is not expanded upon really that much. But I need to actually get back to the main plot and actually explain things. So okay, David, this guy here, somehow took over the dark side of the moon from the royal family. Don't ask. I tried but found nothing on how that shit works. As we learn throughout the game that he's also our brother, and that means very little, again, because it doesn't really matter. And also, you're from the moon, and Mondo got off the moon by a unicorn after his mother was killed and was sent to Earth. Yeah, I said that, and people wonder why the hell I tell sometimes people Some people really do take drugs, and I'm weirded out that I'm not one that takes drugs. But whatever, throughout the game some stuff happens, but doesn't really meaningfully mean anything, as we actually do take him down, but due to taking in so much malice, yeah, don't ask, again, wish I knew, as we are then becoming affected, but somehow become targeted by the Moon River woman through the Brian's execution group, and us watching him putting David's castle back together. And honestly, I could not honestly explain this really that well, because it's not explained that well at all. Honestly, if they could have tied this more together with the plot episodes, I could have been more fine with it, and hell, even more explanation, and hell, more plot, since I felt like what they did here was interesting, but it felt like they were taking info away as hostages. Like, for example, did you know Mondo was on the team that killed Bin Laden in that world? Yeah, I'm not even joking. That came out of fucking nowhere. I mean, like, when you learn that, isn't that fucking interesting, but also completely batshit crazy? Because why wouldn't you want to tell us that? Because they're not told. Why would they be told? But then again, they didn't actually include this, so it's again hearsay about if it really did happen, because I consider everything in-game only important. Anything outside doesn't really matter. But you want to know what the oddest thing is? You see, after beating the game, you get the theater mode, but that's not all it unlocks. You know what it does have too? The file area. What's that? Oh, it's where everything's actually explained in the game. Hell, it even explains one of the metaphors the game uses, though it hardly even matters, as I'm trying to understand what's going on than what something means. Seriously, writers, explain what you're doing in the world, then those meanings can actually be meaningful, because we care and understand what in the world is happening. What's worse is that any story episodes like episode 1, 5, and 11 are dull due to them being taking control away, and 5 is utterly dull due to, again, mostly walking and slow walking at that. There are stages that are okay, but are not really great either, like 3, 4, and 8, that are just lacking in stuff in general, like lackluster plot in general, and not much interesting design. And like, for example, the Alice stage. It feels lazy because they're using that motif, but I don't know, it's just not interesting enough. Though don't think I forgot about the awesome music done by the legendary Akira Yamaoka, which is just a great listen. Honestly, actually made me want to play the game when I heard the King of Ghosts theme. You know, that theme that plays anytime anyone ever talks about this game, including me. Seriously, it's awesome. Though not all of it is great, like the theme for episode 3. Though at this point I need to mention something now too. Can we also make that one song that everyone always plays, the moon's official anthem? You know, like that song that everyone always plays when we're talking about the moon, you know, like Asura's Wrath, you know what I mean? And I kind of ironically kind of is thematically fitting with this game a bit. It's kind of awkward. There's also a bunch of side missions. They're also, again, varying quality, but mostly all of them are good, so I'll say they're pretty okay, acceptable, and some are just downright bad, but still good to play.
But in the end, I kept ragging on it at the end. Why do I still like it? Style has a way of making me like something more than I would. I like Kingdom Hearts over there, because it has style and it has heart. This game has loads of it. Sure, it has, again, more issues, but if you let only those issues weigh you down, you ain't gonna enjoy this. But if you take what I said in strides, you'll enjoy it. Next time, I'm actually going to use this for more use, because we're making our way to Way of the Samurai 2. Till next time, everyone. Have a good day. Yada yada yada. Something.